Morrison Savannah, you're welcome. Welcome. It's good to see you. So we're getting started very soon. We're getting started very soon. So yes, just by means of introduction, my name is Isaac, the founder at the Genesis Company. We're a coaching and consulting firm. Basically, we offer trainings, coaching programs, consulting programs to individuals and corporate entities, helping them build scale and launch their ideas. That's basically what we do at the Genesis Company. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Um, yes, for tonight's webinar, it's REv-Up. It's a webinar series. REv-Up is a series of webinars majorly around strategies for optimizing revenue, strategies for unlocking new revenue streams, strategies that you can engage to open up new streams of revenue or increase your volume in the current streams or channels you're having as a business or as an enterprise. All right, somebody else is here. Okay. All right. All right. So we're gonna have a very, very, very engaging time. We're having a very engaging time this evening. Let me just run through while we're waiting for the rest to join us. Let me run through what we have for the day. All right. Yes. So like I said, we are going to be having an awesome time, an engaging and interactive time. So while we're waiting for others, if you're on this call, just introduce yourself in the chat box and then introduce your brand and what you do. I mean, this can be an opportunity for somebody to know what you do. So introduce yourself, introduce your brand. Don't bother about the full details. Just give us, a one-liner, your elevator pitch. What do you do? What's your brand about? And then your name. And then we can move from there. All right. So share the link with someone that you think needs to be here. Share it on your status, share it on your social handles. We're getting started in a moment from now. Getting started. So yes, like I said, this is RevUp. This is the first RevUp webinar in the entire series, but we're going to be having RevUp webinars again and again and again and again subsequently. All right. Adepoju Ronke, you're welcome. Good to see you here. Good to see you. You're welcome. All right. So yes, let me run through the highlights. So we're going to be talking about multiple revenue channels, what multiple revenue channels are about in running a business, and why multiple revenue channels. So what's the big deal around multiple revenue channels? Why should you bother? Why should you consider opening multiple revenue channels? Is it not multiple stress for you, to have to open up multiple revenue channels? What are the dangers of not opening multiple revenue channels? Yes, then we're going to be having a testimonial session. We're going to be discussing some models actually to this effect. We're going to be discussing some models, the triad offering model. Don't let me give it away, but the triad offering model. We're going to be having a Q&A. So we're going to be having two sessions of Q&A. It's going to be happening, two sessions. We're going to be having one in the middle and one at the end. So if you have questions, probably during the course of this webinar, you can just drop your questions as we move on. All right. So we'll be talking about the continuity offering model. So these are just basically models that, let me call them frameworks that can help you understand how you can open up new revenue channels without having to, maybe have an extra business, open a new business, a new product, having an extra service, just with the exact same product or service you have already. All right. So that's basically the highlights for tonight. So we're in for a very, 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 very engaging session. We're in for a very, very, very insightful session here. All right. So we're waiting for the rest. We should get started by 7:10. 10 minutes past 7, we're getting started. All right. So invite somebody that needs to be here. Someone that needs to be here, invite them, let them be on this live. Right. All right. I think I saw somebody introduce himself. Tolu Creative. All right, Tolu. I'm Tolu. I'm a product designer, UI UX. All right. Nice to have you around, Tolu. Nice to have you here. So nice to have you around, Mark. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're just here right on time. We're about to get started now. All right. So we'll just get started while we're expecting other people to join us. Right. So it's RevUp. Like I said, RevUp is a webinar series. From the tag name, RevUp means taking up your revenue, right? So RevUp is a webinar series. It's also tied to a lot of other programs that we have, the RevUp business course, and then the RevUp training programs, a lot of other offerings that are related to RevUp. But tonight we're having RevUp webinar. We're considering unlocking multiple channels of revenue from a single product or service. All right, so let's just get straight into it. Let me get straight into it. If you were here earlier, I made some introductions before now. So, like I said, for the people that are just joining, you can introduce yourself in the comment section. Just drop a chat, drop your name, and then what you do. What business do you do? What business are you into? Just in a statement. Yeah, in a statement, just drop what you do. Let's know what you do. All right, so understanding multiple revenue channels. What multiple revenue channels is. So um, it's just basically the concept of generating revenue from various sources using the same product. Let's consider the context of this webinar now. So what we're trying to look at here is how we can generate multiple revenue channels from having the same product or the same service. So we're not having to create a new product, to increase revenue or to multiply revenue. We're not having to um, maybe create a new set of service or create an entirely new business just to increase revenue channels. I know that there's a lot of buzz around opening multiple revenue channels or multiple income streams, and then the first thing that comes to people's mind is, oh, how can I maybe handle 5 businesses at once? And most of the time, that's not where to start from. What you're actually meant to start from is what you currently have. What you currently have, the business you currently have, the product business, the service business you currently have. How can you open up multiple channels within that particular business? Because that's even of more leverage, more advantage for you. You have put in more investment there. The ease of actually making improvements there is of less challenge compared to you having to now go and start up an entirely new business or an entirely new operation. So most of the time, most businesses, what they do is they only look at the primary source of revenue. They don't look beyond the primary source of revenue. They just look at the primary source of revenue, which is basically, oh, okay, I run a product business, then I'm selling a product. I run a service business, then let's sell services. And that's all they think about when they talk about generating revenue. So when they are thinking about, when you are challenging them to, oh, okay, how can you generate more revenue? The only thing they are thinking of is, oh, how can we sell more units of this same product? Or how can we sell more, can we sell this service to more clients? That's the only thing that comes. And that's just, a, a tip of the iceberg. You're just scratching the top of the entire opportunity available actually in that particular business. So most businesses see it as, okay, sales, revenue generation is just from direct sales. So the word revenue, actually, I think this is where I need to start from. We need to do some definition. So we throw a lot of words around like revenue, sales, profit. What's the difference? Is it not the same thing? My business had a revenue of so, or my business have a revenue of $200 in 2023, or my business had a total sales of $200 or total profit of $200. What's the difference? A lot of people use it, interchangeably, which is yeah, of course, permissibly on a lot of occasions people use it interchangeably, but they're actually different things. So basically, the difference between sales and revenue is that sales is what you get, the amount of income inflow that you get from selling a product or selling a service. Direct sales. That's what we call sale. So you are in a, you're producing phones or you're producing gadgets. The amount of cash flow you get from selling phones, the amount of money people pay you for selling maybe 20 copies of a phone that you're selling at 10,000 naira. So 20 copies of 10,000 naira phones this month, and then we made, 200,000 in sales. But that does not mean you've made 200,000 in revenue. Now, what's the difference between sales and revenue? Revenue is the total amount of money you generated, total amount of inflow you generated from direct sales and all other means of cash flow. Meaning that if you have a business that gives you, perhaps you licensed a particular system, you licensed a particular means of operation. For example, Amazon licenses the one-click checkout. Now, they get money from that. You get money from royalties, you get money from sponsorships, you get money from partnerships, you get money from selling intelligence, you're selling data, you get money from selling, let's say, promotion spaces. Every other form of is more like a sum total of every form of cash flow that you have. So revenue is every form of cash flow, not just direct sale of products or services. So the difference is that when you're talking about sales, you're just talking about how much money we got from selling, how much total inflow we got from selling a product or selling a service. But revenue covers everything. So for example, if you got money from leasing out a portion of the land with which you are operating your business, that plus your total amount of products or services sold is what revenue is. So sales is just how much you get from direct transactions where people give you money to get a product or give you money to get a service. A very good example of this analogy is when let's consider McDonald's. McDonald's business on the outside looks like, oh, they are into restaurants, right? They're into food business. But those guys are actually into real estate business. If you look at what they do with their franchising system, they actually they get land, they buy lands and tell anybody that wants to, franchise McDonald's to use this particular area, use this particular land. So each of those franchises are paying McDonald's rent every year. Apart from what they pay McDonald's for being a franchisee, right? Apart from what they pay them for being a franchisee, a percentage of the profit that goes to McDonald's, part of the operation, what is called operation expense for that franchise, goes actually not to an external landlord somewhere. It actually goes to McDonald's itself. Now that's part of what they would account as revenue. That's what McDonald's would account as revenue. So revenue is the sum total of what you got from product sales, what you got from every possible means of getting cash flow. So that's why sales can be different from revenue. For some company, their sales, their total sales is their total revenue. So don't mix that up. Your total sales can actually be your total revenue. That is if all the cash flow you get comes from just direct product sales or direct service sales. You don't have any other revenue stream, right? So yeah, that's just the difference between the two. So most businesses just explore, especially business at the early stage, they just explore the primary source of revenue, which is just direct sales of a product, and that's all. So if you're talking about, oh, how can we increase revenue, all they're thinking about is how can we increase the number of products we're selling, or how can we increase the number of people we're serving, or the number of clients we're serving. That's basically it. That's what the average person thinks about, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. I mean, there are a lot of things that you are going to be missing out with that kind of mindset. So let's move forward. So talking about multiple revenue channels, why multiple revenue channels? Why are we looking at multiple revenue channels? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was sharing something on Instagram about the most dangerous number in business. The most dangerous number in business. I know that averagely, the average person feels like, oh, zero is the most dangerous number in business. Having zero clients, having zero customers, having zero revenue, zero sales. That's what a lot of people are afraid of. They feel like, oh, that's the dangerous number in business. But the riskiest number in business is actually one. Because when you have just one revenue channel, one marketing channel, one marketing channel, one client, one customer that is paying, you are like someone at the edge of a cliff. You are at the edge of a cliff just without knowing. And then it can trick you into feeling like, oh, we're doing well, we're making so amount of money per month. And then you are thinking of expanding, you are thinking of putting systems, building structures, putting things together while you are on the edge of a cliff. Because just that one single client or that one marketing channel that has been working, if it closes down, if that market cancels on you, that client cancels on you, or that marketing channel just something happens and then it's no longer functioning. Just something changes in the market, something changes in the way people consume stuff. I mean, a very good example is COVID lockdown. Just one thing can actually close you out of business because you are relying on one. And that's what makes it the most dangerous number in business. So one is actually more dangerous than zero. Because when you are at zero, you feel like, oh, okay, I'm fine. You feel like, oh, okay, I need to get something. But when you're one, you're like, oh, I'm fine. Why you are not fine? But at zero, you are always on your toes. Oh, let's leave this level of zero. Let's increase the bottom line. But once you've gone past that, and then you are at, oh, okay, we have at least now we can survive with one this, one that, one client, one supplier. I mean, I've seen people run out of business, disappoint customers because they had one supplier for years. Now they've been doing well, but they had just one supplier for years. And that one supplier has been doing well until something happened, and then that one supplier, perhaps that person brought up a condition that they couldn't meet anymore. Maybe pricing, maybe just anything at all could have caused them to lose that one single supplier that they're relying on, and that's it for them. Boom, they are scrambling and out of business, and then they have orders they can't fulfill. Right? So, what's multiple revenue? Why are we talking multiple revenue channels? One of the major reasons is to reduce risk. So just like I've justified, having a single revenue stream, a single revenue channel for your business is a good place, but it's not a place to rest. Right? You are at the edge of a cliff. You are not in the trenches. Let me say you are not in the trenches, but you are still at the edge of a cliff. You can fall off any moment, and then it can be very, very, very fatal. So, for example, let's say you're a tech company and you sell just software, maybe software as service, or just sell software as subscription-based softwares. To say, oh, we're doing well. We have 500 people using the platform, paying $50 per account for a particular period of time. Well. You are doing well, but you are at a risk. Relying on just subscriptions, people are paying for subscriptions, and if something happens and then license sales drop, the rate at which people are paying for your subscription services is no more there. What do you think will happen? So having the intelligence of putting together other means of generating revenue apart from subscriptions. For example, maybe the companies that are actually paying you to use the software, what are they paying you for? Maybe it's an accounting software. Can you kinds of consulting for some kind of clients on how they use the software, on how they can better organize their accounting flow. So that's basically one of the reasons why having multiple revenue channels is very, 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 very important. Another thing is, yes, of course, this is a no-brainer, increasing profitability. So easily you know that when you open multiple revenue channels and then you have multiple revenue channels, you can make more money. You can, and once you make more money, you have more cash flow, your profits increase. So that's another one that I know is, it's straightforward for anybody to understand. When you open new revenue channels, you increase profits. So your overall profit goes up when you diversify such a way. Even in times of, let's say, one of the channels are dwindling, something wrong with one of the channels, your profit can still be on the rise, while a business with just one revenue stream is struggling to survive, right? So another thing is sustainability. So your business can actually last, like the example I gave the other time of the COVID lockdown. Some businesses did not survive that lockdown, even though the lockdown did not take years, but some businesses did not survive that period. Just those period of months drowned some businesses, and then that's it. They never came up again. So it's a very, 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 let me say, strategic thing to do, to always look at how can we open up more revenue channels, such that in a bubble market, in a bear market, you can still, find your way through those seasons and then come out at the end of it, because you've opened multiple revenue channels in a time where a particular product is no more selling, in a time where people don't need it. Of course, they'll still need it, but during those seasons, they don't need it. So if there are no other revenue channels that are not tied to that particular direct sale of products, you are going to be in a very, very, very big mess. So yeah, I said I wanted to share a testimonial. I wanted to share a testimonial on this webinar that will just give us some sort of context, something that happened, I think, some weeks back now, during the last, let me say 2 weeks ago. We had the Q&A session, we have in the community, the Ask the Founder session. I believe some of us must have participated in it before now. Clement Viola, I can see you. Please, you can drop if you have a suggestion or a question, please just drop it in the chat box. Just go to the chat area and drop it. Once it's time for Q&A, I'll pick on it from there. Your question will be the first I'll pick. All right. So this person came to my DM. He says, "Oh, I have a business. I am a clique of friends. We share challenges we face in our business. So we're all doing the same thing. We talked about our success as part of our casual discussions. One of my friends later decided to increase his income streams and ventured into the same business with me." I want you to follow this story. It's not that long, but I want you to follow this story. So the other friend ventured into the same business with him. So now both of them are in the same market. He says, "I'm a student. I survive completely on my business for now." He says he eventually started implementing all the winning strategies I had shared in our casual discussions, more like he recorded all our discussions and was offering the service slightly cheaper than mine. Was sending advert messages to the same customers that usually buy my services, and the ads were mostly price competitive. So this person was trying to, let me say, hijack his customers by, of course, offering a lesser price to those people, and then, of course, people can port just because of difference in price. So over time, my sales dropped, and I had to come up with new ideas to make my business stand out. Since I had serious competition, my problem now is this: I have technical skills, and he does not. Each time I implement something new, so majorly what he implements are more like technical solutions to make the offering better. So each time I implement something new that sets my business ahead, he meets me to implement the same for him. Says, "I've done this 3 times because I value our friendship. However, I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot, because while my friend has 3 sources of income, I'm struggling with one where I seem to be working for my primary competition in the name of friendship. So what do I do in this situation to preserve my business without destroying our friendship?" I don't know if you got that. If you got that, let me see you in the comment, or just raise your hand. I want to know if somebody got this particular scenario. All right, Tolu Creative, I see you. All right, Sharon, I see you. All right. So give me a minute. Let me read. Um, the response and what I did. What we actually did to solve this dilemma, because this is a serious, real. I mean, real case study kind of scenario where somebody is in a situation where he doesn't want to lose a friend, he doesn't want to lose a friend, even though I feel like this person is not your friend if I look at the way the person operates. But then this is business. So I think the first thing I told him was, let me just read from here. The first thing I gave him was, well, while you're in business, it's more like you have two friends on a football pitch. You're having two friends on a football pitch. While we're on the football pitch, we are on two opposing sides. It doesn't stop us from being, friends or brothers. But you know how it is. We're on two opposing sides, and then my goal is to get my goals, into your net. And then when we are done, of course, we're still brothers. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's exactly what this person is playing with him. And he's totally tired of, being the one to come up. He's technically inclined, right? And the other person is not. So he has the advantage, but, the person comes to him time and time again, and then he shares it. So basically, what I told him was, number one, the fact that he ventured into your market, sending adverts to your own set of customers, he's already declaring war against you. That's number one. That's just number one. What he needed to see. That was number one. Now, the real solution here was that he was technically inclined. And then all he needed to do was to just create a service. So let me just read it. So what you can do is to create a service out of those technical implementations that you do and charge him a service fee to set up the same thing for him. So you can make it a one-time fee, you can make it a recurrent fee. So just make it a fee that he would have to pay. In fact, I would recommend it's more like a per transaction fee that he would have to pay to use that system, such that it does not look like, oh, you are hoarding things from him. But he would understand that, oh, this is business. So you are technically inclined, you come up with technical solutions. Oh, fine, create a system. And then beyond that, I told him, what you need to do is create the system now. Since it looks like selling to direct customers is hard now because, the market is being diluted here and there. Can you create this system and then go to other vendors, not just your friend alone? Now, have another revenue channel apart from just selling directly to customers and getting profit per unit that you're selling. Can you create those systems and then sell those systems? Sell those systems to other vendors like yourself. And then he went ahead and then, he came back. I think we discussed some days after. In fact, we discussed today and then said he has started implementing, and then people have started showing interest in that. Now, he has been doing well before all this, drama started. He has been doing well, just getting the particular product or service and selling it directly to the customers, and then he has been fine. But now there is a scenario, and that's normal for all businesses. There will always be a time in a market where you are in where something that has been working will stop working. If you want to be a business person, or if you are a business person, you should be at par with that. You should be settled with that. You should not have any issues with that, right? So he was doing well before. There was no issues with his business. But now that something came up, it was an opportunity for him to actually open up multiple revenue channels. So now he's not just making money from direct sales. Now he's also making money from selling to other businesses, other, let me call them retailers like himself, and then he's getting paid a transaction fee. So now so even in a case where something happens to his own customers and then there's a decline, because the entire market, a particular chunk of the market, depends on the system to run, he's still going to be making money, right? So that was one uh, powerful, let me say, powerful application of opening up multiple revenue channels. How it can actually boost stocks for you. So yeah, let's move forward. Let's just move forward. We still have a lot to go into, but I believe with this particular testimonial, somebody's getting something already. I believe somebody's getting something already. We still have quite a number of concepts to look into that would actually give you the full picture of how you can, assess any business at any time and understand, oh, how can I open up new revenue channels? What are the systems by which you can open up new revenue channels? The first one that I'll be discussing is the triad offering model. You probably must have seen something like this before, perhaps maybe one section of this framework, which is the DIY. DIY is do it yourself, or the DWY, done with you, the DFY, done for you. So majorly what this triad model is about is seeing businesses from the perspective of either you are in DIY or you are in DWY or you are in DFY. DIY means you are doing it yourself. What does that mean? Your customers use your product without any assistance from you, or let's say zero to minimal assistance from you. So an example of that is I created a course on how to learn how to become a graphic designer. I created a course on graphic design, and then I recorded the course. I put the materials there. You come there, pay for the course, and then without my involvement, you learn, and then that's it. I get paid, and then you get satisfied, and that's it. That's DIY. Do it yourself, right? Done with you is when customers receive guidance from you, like what um, coaching companies do, what consulting companies do, what coaches and consultants do. What they do is they help you by the way. So you might have weekly calls, monthly calls with them where they are guiding you to actually derive value from what they're selling, right? So that's the done with you. That's DWY. DFY is you are providing the full service. You're handling everything for the customer. And a very good example of that is, let's say you are a website designer, a website design business, right? What you do for the client is tell me what you need and we'll get it done for you. Or you're a digital marketing agency. Tell me what you want to get. Tell me your goals. Tell me what you're trying to target. Tell me the business results you want to produce. And then we go set up the campaign, do the research, create the creatives, launch the ad, manage the campaign, and do all that. That's done for you. So you are 100% fully involved without the customer, right? So this is just what the framework is about. So this framework is what you can actually use in looking at any business. Generally, it's a general knowledge among most, let me say, business owners and even business strategists that okay, your business is maybe in DIY or you are doing DWY or DFY. Now, what this triad offering model system is actually doing is showing you actually that you don't necessarily have to classify yourself as in one of these sections. That's why it's a triad offering model. This is what I mean. Let's go to the next slide so that you can get what I mean. So for example, a digital marketing agency, like I said, I gave an example just now that, a digital marketing agency is a DFY service. Why? All they do is you tell them what you want and then they get the result for you. The only way you derive value from them is when they do everything for you, right? That's what the average digital marketing agency does. But that is limiting yourself. That's, your revenue stream is already channeled towards one area. So in a season of time where you don't have clients that are willing to, they don't have any social media marketing projects, they don't have any website projects, they don't have any email campaign projects, or there's an issue with that particular sector of the market, or an issue with your internal operations on that end, there's going to be zero revenue from you because you're unable to sell that service to anybody. So now the triad offering model is telling you to actually sit down, look at your business, and see how you can actually generate revenue by functioning in all or multiple of these sections. So, for example, the digital marketing agency now, as a digital marketing agency, you don't necessarily have to box yourself as, we are just a full service agency, come and then we'll get it done for you. You can actually provide tools like SEO analysis tools, digital presence audit tools, social media scheduling tools, email marketing templates. These are things that businesses struggle with. I mean, they put a lot of energy into getting people to subscribe to their email newsletter, and then they get to the point of sending and they're like, okay, we need templates. We want to know how we can design beautiful emails, and they don't want to put in the work of designing it, right? So you can actually offer a suite of stuff that they can use without you being involved. You can actually offer a lot of short courses, short guide, a lot of frameworks and work tools and kits that you can provide to them that they can use, because them coming to you and saying we want social service and you delivering that service and thinking, that's all with that client. No, you are leaving a lot of money on the table that way. A lot of money. In fact, that kind of DIY stuff where you create stuff that they can use, meaning, oh, they worked with you in January, but as at June, something is still coming from them to you because they are paying for other things, not just the service of let's set up a website for us or run a campaign for us, and that's it. So you are not just constantly on the run to find the next client, right? Because you are doing, oh, we're just a full service agency. Another thing you could have explored was DWY, meaning done with you. Can you provide uh, coaching sessions to them such that, oh, we know that we have delivered this website to you. What if you can, what would you say about subscribing to a it doesn't have to be a very high, high ticket offer. It doesn't have to be a high ticket offer, but an offer whereby we can help you, we can come on call with you, let's say once in a week or or twice in a month, come on call with you and your team and assess what you are doing and show you what's up with your website. What are the things you should do with this website? What are the things you can do to adjust this website, even without having to pay us to make any adjustments, right? So it could be like monthly check-ins, it could be like, oh, strategy sessions that you could do for those businesses. They just be personalized advice, and then they are just paying a particular fee, not so huge a fee, but a particular amount to keep you functioning as their coach, right? So that's another example. Let me show you. I still need to show you another example of how this triad offering model works. Let's have another case study of a financial planning firm. Let's say a financial planning firm, and naturally a financial planning firm is, oh, you go to the website and you say we offer financial planning services, and that's it. So what we do is we help our clients, we manage what's it called, the investments, we do tax planning, advisory, and all retirement planning, estate planning, and that's it for them. And then they are constantly on the cycle of looking for, new entities that they can offer these services to. And now having that mindset already puts you in a box. It puts your revenue game in a box. But then look at it. Look at it. If you would just open up your mind to, okay, we're not just a DFY business, a for you business. We can actually provide an online platform with these tools. We can actually provide an online platform with educational resources. Oh, yes, we can actually help you manage your investment portfolio. But I mean, there are times that they just have a particular question. Oh, what happens if we want to go international? Oh, what happens if you want to go IPO? There are just some things that you can record into lessons that people can go and take. And then you can even license it, and then they can, open it up to the entire organization, the entire pool of staff. And then they are paying you a particular amount per staff that uses that platform that access those information, right? That's another profound way to open up revenue for yourself. Or you're like, okay, instead of just taking everything, because there are people that would not be willing or able to pay for the full service offer, because the full service offer is you're bringing yourself and your team, immersed in that particular project, right? So in that case, it's most likely that you are going to be charging a higher fee, right? Does anybody agree with me? If you are doing a full service offer as a financial planning firm, your fees are going to be high compared to when you feel like, okay, let's record something that can actually give somebody basic insights on how to handle things. Oh, there are particular things that come up, based on your previous interaction with clients over the years, the hiccups they go into in the process of finding utility from what you've done for them. So those are things you should create into, information, educational resources, and then they can pay for it. And then they don't need you. And also you're able to charge, you're able to keep the price tag low, because you are doing the work once and then you are getting paid for it again and again and again and again. So with more clients coming, paying you once, there are also opportunities of them paying you again and again and again and again without you having to fully involve yourself in the work of managing and doing that. So there are a lot of times, I know everybody here must have been in that shoes where you have clients that they really want to work with you. They really want to work with you. They love your approach. They love your value system. They love what you are offering, but they just can't afford what you are offering. They just can't afford what you are offering. These are the things you should look at. Look at where you are. Which of these sections of the triad are you? Are you just focusing on the DIY part, or we're done for you full service, or we're done with you coaching service, or a coaching coaching or training agency, look at how you can actually convert that section that you are in. How can it play out in the other sections? How can it play out as a DIY? How can it play out as TWY? How can it play out as DFY? You can operate in the three sections, and then it means your revenue streams now is more, it's double, it's triple, and sometimes these new revenue streams that you're opening will not even require the kind of full supervision that your previous revenue stream is demanding from you, right? So that's another example. I have quite a couple of examples, just to drive home the point. Yeah, let's say you're a home renovation company and then you do painting, tiling, and minor repairs. Normally, in fact, if you have somebody like that on this webinar, the person would actually feel like, oh, these things you are saying are not for me. I mean, this is for the big boys. This is for the big companies. No, absolutely not. It's not. In fact, the fact that you think, oh, what we do is renovation services. Yes, do you have do you have an office space? We can help you renovate. Or if it is painting, if it's a minor repair, if it is air conditioning system, and then that's all you think you can do to get money. You just want to sell those services direct and then do the DFI approach, done for you approach. We'll do everything for you. Just we're the person to call. You've not considered the DIY approach. You've not considered the DIY approach. Doing it, can you offer consultations where customers can get advice from professional contractors from your firm, either yourself or any other person coming? Are there times that you can just propose, how about after completing this project, we can come and check in once in a month, just periodic assessments, or just we're here for you. It's a support system that we're offering you. Any time of the year you can reach out to us and then we can fix things for you. People are willing to pay for those stuffs. They might not be willing to pay for an entire new project because they don't even have an entire new project. And then you feel like, oh, that's all we can get from that particular client. Let's carry our bags and hunt for another set of clients. No, right? So you can see how it applies across any kind of brand at all, any kind of business that you are in. You can actually apply this model. Yeah, for a consulting firm, for a fitness brand, maybe you run a gym, you can do a whole lot. I mean, DIY is selling fitness equipment for people to go and use business, and how people derive value from it, and the different programs that people can go on, but then all he does is run a gym. He just run a gym club, and then that's it. What of offering personal training sessions where your trainers can go and guide people where they are? What of selling equipment to other gym centers? What of selling equipment to hospitality businesses, right? These are, unending streams that you can actually tap and explore without you having to, say we have to open, because the next thing is, we have a gym here. How can we open that gym? Because all the club membership, and that's just the full service thing that we're doing. So it becomes almost impossible for anybody to, see multiple revenue streams, multiple revenue channels when we are thinking in a very unidirectional approach that way. So that's what this, triad offering model is trying to break. It's a framework to show you how that you are in one of these sections currently, or maybe multiple of these sections, getting your revenue streams from one of these sections, but you can actually still explore more. And there are businesses that have done this. They've opened up streams for themselves that the total revenue, by the time they check after a quarter or after a year, has gone more than double, just from opening one extra stream. And it really didn't look like they are spending more resources or more energy or more time to doing them, right? So that's basically, there are still a couple of other models that I want us to consider. But before then, let me see if we have any questions. If there's anybody there with any question, let me see if I can take them now. So if you have a question, just yes, drop your question in the chat area so that I can see it, and then I'll be able to. All right, Sharon, career storyteller, job search strategist. All right. So yes, just for a few minutes, I want to see if we have any questions. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat area before I proceed. Still have quite a number of things to cover. Here. And if you've gotten anything from this session, please drop it in the chat area. you've gotten anything at all. What are the things you've gotten from this session? What are the just in a few lines or one line, what are the things you've gotten from this session? What are the things that came clear to you from just a few minutes of joining the session? I want to see that. So I'm opening the floor for a few minutes before we continue, into the other part of the webinar. So we're going to be considering in the other part the continuity offering model, how you can still open up much more than using the triad model, still another approach that you can use to open up multiple revenue channels. So how can you open up continuity offerings? So I'll tell you what continuity offerings are and how to go about that, how to handle that. So just a few minutes, in 2-3 minutes, once we have no question, we'll continue into the second part of the webinar. So yes, I'm still expecting to see somebody drop what? Okay. All right. Waburu Emeka Christian. All right. Thank you for your question. Thank you so much for sharing from your wealth of knowledge. Can your DIY interfere directly with your DFY model? Okay. No, it should not. So why did I say no, it should not? If you've mastered how to actually make offers, I think this is more on the area of your sales skill now. If you have mastered how to make offers, if your DFY, I don't know which one you have, which one you are starting with, but whichever one you are starting with, the penultimate, the latter one that is coming in, has to be from your own assessment of the buyer or the client or the customer. So you don't just whip up any offer. You have to actually check and see what are the things you found out, what are the customer insights you found out that made you think, oh, they would need this. So by the time you are crafting your offer, it cannot be in competition with your DIY. That's if you are trying to craft your done for you offer, it cannot be in competition with your do it yourself offer, because it's practically meant to deliver another let me say another kind of offering, another kind of value, another level of value. I don't know if you get what I mean. So it should not interfere, actually. If you craft your offers well, it should not interfere. Except if the new offer you are bringing in is not really filling any need. It's not as a result of anything you found out about the customer, but it should not interfere at all. So I don't know if that helped you. I don't know if that, or if you want to unmute to ask your question, but all right, it's clear. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, so any other question before we proceed into the other part of the webinar? All right, so this is another opportunity for you to get somebody on this webinar. If you have somebody that you think needs to be here, that still needs to join this webinar, you can, get the link and invite them. You can share the meeting link with them before we continue. So just a few minutes of break, then we'll continue again. All right. So for um, the people that are wondering, the material is going to be available. We'll make the material available. The material for this particular session is going to be available most likely tomorrow or on Monday. So we'll make it available on the Genesis community so that everyone can get it. If you are not on the community, okay, I see somebody raise their hand. Is Sharon raising? Are you raising your hand? Okay, all right. So yes,
Noted.
the material will be available. So we'll share it on the community. If you are here, if you are not on the Genesis community, I'll drop a link in the chat box for you to join the community. If you are not on the community, let me drop the link. All right, so the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat area already. So you can join the community via that link. All right, so let's move forward. I believe we don't have any more questions for now. All right, so let me just move forward into the other section of the webinar. So like I said, the continuity offering. So this is basically answering the question of what happens after the first sale. So either you're a product business or you're a service business, what happens after the first sale? Because most of the time, business owners, they tie their revenue to um, just getting the first sale, and then that's it. Like nobody can see beyond the first sale. Nobody's saying any form of opportunity to actually deliver more value and generate more revenue beyond the first sale. So what am I talking about here? I'm just going to be listing some means of presenting continuity offerings. So continuity offerings are offerings that allow you to deliver value to um, a satisfied customer beyond the initial sale. So it's more like a system of delivering value continuously, even after they've derived value from maybe a particular product that they got from you or a particular service that they got from you. How can you continuously serve them? What other offerings can you put up that can increase the lifetime value of the customer and increase the time frame of you generating revenue from that particular client or customer, right? So number one, the first one is subscription services. So majorly, if you are maybe a product or service business, a subscription service is just basically anything you can offer to them that they can pay for on a recurring basis. So instead of thinking, oh, okay, I'm into, let's say, I'm into, we're selling softwares. And then what you've been doing so far is you've been selling your softwares to, let's say, corporate bodies or enterprises, and then all they do is pay a one-time fee, and then you go install the software for them, and then that's it. That's shortchanging yourself from a whole lot of revenue that you can generate. Now that is fine, but how can you create an offering by which you can get paid periodically, that you can get paid recurrently? Once you don't have that in place, you can't have a sustainable revenue stream. You can't, because you're jumping from one client to the other, 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 right? Another example is having membership programs. This usually work for businesses that are in the education business. So, which means you are either selling trainings, programs, or any form of education business at all. Instead of just, most education businesses focus on how can we sell a particular course? How can we sell a training program? How can we sell a boot camp? How can we sell a cohort of a coaching program for maybe 6 weeks coaching program? And after the 6 week, that's it. Yeah, that's being short-sighted. That's being short-sighted because There is so much, if you have delivered enough, so much value, maybe for a period of 4 weeks or for a period of 6 weeks, the real gold is actually in them being able to make use of all what you've, taught, or what you've shared with them. The real gold is in them being able to go ahead to do something with it and get, utility out of it. And that is where they need you. That's where they need you. Yes, you've delivered something reasonable for them, but that's where they need you. And there is a whole lot of money to be made where there is a serious need. That's it. So people feel like, oh, okay, if you're thinking in terms of need, if you're thinking in terms of utility, you would see that whatsoever I'm providing to, whatever kind of knowledge I'm providing to these people at this period of time, they are going to go ahead to implement, and they are going to face things that they never thought about, that they could not have even asked questions um, on, because they are not there yet. They are not at that phase. They are not at that stage yet. And this is what continuity offerings do. So this example of membership programs is just majorly creating a program where people pay a particular fee to be a part of a continuity program. More like, oh, you paid for a particular course. Do you want to join a community where, a lifetime community where you can always be there, and then you can interact with other people that are on the same journey? You can get some questions answered. You can get some updated insights on what is currently working, things like that. So that's majorly what membership programs are. So there are businesses that naturally they are inclined towards membership programs, but most businesses don't. Most businesses think, oh, and there are businesses, the funny thing is there are businesses that are not even education business that can have membership programs. For example, let's say you sell, let's say you sell, you do, let's say, legal advice for, you're an attorney, you're a divorce attorney, just for an example, you're a divorce attorney. And all you think about is, how can I get a client that will pay me a one-time fee to handle? Most likely for a divorce attorney, a repeat business is not that much. It's not that much. Someone that gets to divorce once in their entire lifetime, they might not divorce more than twice or maybe once, and that's it for you. So it means you've exhausted the possibility of having any revenue stream. But then, if you did a good job at handling, the legalities of divorce for somebody, there's still a whole lot in that particular line of knowledge that you can actually offer. You can actually offer support groups for people that have actually gone through those processes. You can actually offer, let's say, somebody that went through a court case and didn't know about any of these things before, any of these things that you are now telling them when you are their legal counsel. You can shield them from future issues by having membership programs that they can be a part of. They're not going to be exorbitant, outrageous fee, but what you are trying to do is increase the channels by which revenue is coming into the business, right? Or maybe what you do is you help cancel people, let's say marriage, I don't know, maybe marriage counseling or something. There's a whole lot of uh, issues. There's a whole lot of problems and challenges that they are still going to face on the long run that might bring them back to you or not. So why not just create a membership program where they can be a part of it, where other people that have actually derived value from your offering or whatsoever service or product you're offering can actually also exist in, that you can actually deliver an on-the-go value to them, right? So that's another thing to consider. That's another approach to consider. Yes, you can actually offer maintenance and support contracts. This is usually for people that sell technical stuffs. Maybe you install technical gadgets, or you're an IT firm, you do IT infrastructure setup for businesses. Can you offer maintenance services? Can you offer support contracts? I see a lot of businesses just come and then they are so happy about the contract of, oh, we got a contract to do IT setup for so bank, and then we did it, and then we made so amount, and then that was it. That's that's leaving a whole bunch of money on the table. Can you look at maintenance support contracts? How you can actually, the funny thing about, or let me say the interesting thing about these maintenance and support contracts is that you don't necessarily have to do a lot to get paid, even though the value you are delivering might not be needed every single day. There are particular let me say, vital moments where where those services are going to be needed, where that value is going to be needed, and that's where you come through, and that's what they exactly pay for. For example, people that pay premium, people that pay for insurance services. I mean, nobody prays to have, their office building catch fire, right? Nobody prays for that. But then you pay premium every month or in a periodic, in a particular interval to the insurance company just for the day where something like that might happen, right? And the fact that you are paying them every month is justified, even though there might not be any fire incidents for your entire life, right? But then the fact that you have an arrangement with them where you are paying a particular amount on a recurring basis keeps their business running and makes them able to even show up when something happens, right? Don't let me go into the details of that, but I just said that to stress the point of how this maintenance and support contracts can do a whole lot for you, a whole lot for you. And most people ignore or avoid or just overlook it because they feel like, oh, it's not really, it doesn't look like you are really offering so much, to get paid for, right? So you can also look at, offering upgrades, offering add-ons, offering advisory and consulting services, creating communities where people can, I mentioned this earlier, creating communities where people can actually receive support, interact, share tips. People uh, gain a lot from the energy of communities. They gain a lot from the energy of being a part of a community where interactions happen. In fact, there's this statement that it's not really about what you know, but what you do with what you know, right? So you can know a lot of things and then you are not implementing, you are not doing them. So the result is not showing. But then that energy to actually put to work what you know, one of the major places it comes for many people. I mean, I'm saying this from observation and research. For many people, it's that energy they get from community. That alone is value. The fact that you can't put together a community where people can draw the energy to actually, take action on what they know is value. So most of the time, the major issue people have is that they can't see value at all. They feel like, oh, there's no value in it. There's no value in offering this thing. So they don't think about, oh, okay, this can be a revenue stream or a revenue means for them at all, right? So that's another point. You can have after sale workshop. So you sold a particular product, you sold a particular device, you sold a particular gadget, you sold a particular offering to people. Yes, what you are selling is not knowledge itself. What you are selling is a physically tangible product, right? But after they buy, there's still a whole lot of things they need to know to maximize what they bought, to maximize the value of what they bought. So that's another channel, of continuity offering that you can do. You can offer some kind of customer support that is not regular. So there are products that people buy and they just averagely don't expect you to offer any form of support. But there are clients now. These strategies are not going to be something that you are going to offer and then everybody's going to say yes to. But there is a crop of people within your target, your current existing markets, your current existing customers or clients that want it. And I can tell you, if 20% of your clients are paying you for an extra offer apart from the main offer, it can do a lot to your bottom line. It can do a whole lot to your bottom line, right? So I'll just also mention, I want us to just look at a few other, potential revenue channels. Potential revenue channels. So we're going to look at it from a product business case. We're going to look at it from a service business case. So that you can see the difference, the peculiarities. So that you can, if you are running a product business or a service business, you can derive value from each of the sections as you wish. So for a product business, I just have three major things here that I think I might have not covered in the two frameworks that I mentioned earlier, which is the freemium model. So what does this mean? This is basically, we have a product that we're selling, and then we feel like, people are not buying, want more people to buy. People are buying, but we still want to generate more revenue, right, from that product. So what do? Let's say you produce a total of 200 units. Can you find a way to engage economies of scale to actually produce, let's say, 220 units and spread the cost of producing those extra 20 units on the rest? so much that it's not really affecting your cost of production. And those 20 units are dedicated to be free, let me say, free units of product, such that by the time you are running your business, you can actually give those things out, of course, under particular conditions. But those particular units that you're offering for free, you're offering it to people for free, and then people can actually derive value. And because people most times would not buy if they can have a taste of what they are paying for. So, but no matter how small, even if it's not, the whole deal, but if they can have a taste of what they are paying for, and most of the time when we say it, people feel like, okay, it's just service business, business where you can do free trials. No, you can apply it to any, even a product business. So what you are doing with those free quantities is you are getting your value in the hands of people. You are getting people to derive utility, and then your future customers are going to come out from there. So that's another thing you can do. Another thing is affiliate marketing. Now, affiliate marketing, I know, I know what would come to the mind of the average person who affiliate marketing, selling other people's products. That's a popular opinion of what affiliate marketing is. But in this context, if you have a product business, there are a lot of things you can do. Now, one is that you can partner with other businesses to promote their product and earn a commission. What do I mean by this? It means you have to look for a business that does not have conflicting interest with yours. Let me give this example. We were on, I think it was some Wednesdays ago, we were on the Ask the Founder session on the Genesis community, and somebody was asking a question. I was trying to give him an answer. And because I don't have enough context of what business exactly it does, I had to tell him to, okay, now let us know, what do you do? What exactly do you do? Can you explain your offering? And he was trying to explain his offering. So he typed it out, sent it on page. And then while I was trying to answer his question, somebody else in the community actually mentioned that he wants to patronize him, like right on that spot. What does that mean? It means that the customers he was actually looking for are within my reach, are within the audience that we have, right? So there are a lot of businesses that actually that are not competing. Now, these are non-compete businesses whose interests don't clash or interfere with yours, right? So these are businesses whose customers are potentially your customers that you can actually have this kind of partnerships with. So you are you are promoting their products, and then you earn a commission for that. And then you didn't really have to do anything. You just had to open up your own audience to another offering, another complementary offering, and then you are getting a commission from that. And imagine what that could mean for you, depending on the size of your business. That's an extra stream of revenue for practically doing nothing, because it's the other business that would do the fulfillment and then do the entire work of providing the product or service. Or you can flip it around. You can engage those other businesses to as affiliate for your own business, such that apart from the people you can reach by yourselves, they are actually pushing your offerings to their own target markets, their own customer base. Sorry. So that's why I said it's not what you think. It's not the affiliate marketing you think, right? The third thing here is on the product business case study is advertising and sponsorship, allowing other business to advertise on your product. Let me give a very, very interesting example here. If you've seen any of these matchboxes, that on the matchbox, you see the name of the matchbox, but on the other side of the matchbox, you can see another brand. You can see a butter brand. You can see Blue Band brand on the matches. Now, for Blue Band to appear on that matches, Blue Band must have paid. There's a particular amount that Blue Band is paying that matchbox company to actually appear on their product. That's like free, let me say, free visibility for Blue Band, but they have to pay for that. And that company don't necessarily have to do anything. They don't need to keep producing their products, and the Blue Band needs to pay them per unit of those products that they produce. Right. So those are forms of advertising and sponsorship. So it depends on what your product is. Your product could be a digital product. Yes, you can also do that. If you open any of your browsers now, you would see that, especially browsers like Opera Mini, you would see some websites automatically show up on the front page. And for your information, they are not there by mistake. They are not there by popularity. They are paying to be there. So that's another means of revenue for Opera. That's another means of revenue for them. So you might feel like, oh wow, these people, how they generating revenue. That's one of the means where how they generate their revenue, right? So it's quite diverse. There are a lot of ways by which you can implement these stuffs. Let me just go to the final session of this webinar where we talk about, the other means by which you can generate revenues. This same three models, but for a service business. So in case of a service business, your freemium model is quite simpler. It's just you offering your service, offering free version of your service. Oh, we're a digital marketing agency, and then we help you run ads, manage your digital presence, and all and all and all. Now, you don't necessarily have to offer that full service. Can you offer a digital marketing audit for a small fee? So that's something you can do without spending so much time and resources on. So let's audit your business for free. So we'll just show you what's working, what's not working, what are the channels that are driving the most traffic for you. Just an audit that we can do for you in 30 minutes or an hour, and then that's it. But with that, you've positioned yourself to actually get more clients than you would have possibly had before, right? So in the case of a service business too, you can still partner with other services to promote, and then you get a commission. Like, I'm a real estate agent. You can partner with interior deco businesses, right? That's a form of affiliate marketing actually, because the real estate agents have clients that would need that service. So why not just partner with them? You can partner with influencers too that are within that market, that their audiences are within your market, right? That's another thing you can do. I'm trying to keep to our time. Yes, for advertising and sponsorships too, it can happen for a service business. In fact, service businesses have the potential to deliver visibility even at a more serious rate. This is what I mean. If you offer a service business, a recommendation from a trusted service provider is very, 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 is very, 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 very trustworthy. Yeah, customers trust a recommendation from a service provider that they already are familiar with, that they already trust. So you would most likely listen to a service provider recommending something, even than a Matchbox recommending something, right? I believe we all agree on that. You will listen to a service provider recommending another service provider than a Matchbox recommending something to you. So for I don't know, whatsoever business at all that you are into, it does not matter. I think that's one thing I want you to live with. It does not matter whatever business you are into. This approaches, these strategies are not limited to, oh, I'm in a service business, so I cannot implement this, or I'm in a product business, or so I can't implement this particular tactic or approach. All right, let me just run into the second Q&A session now. Let me open the floor if you would want to ask any question at all. Any other question at all? Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Just drop it in the chat area. You can just drop a question in the chat area. I'll surely see it and answer it. I'll surely see it and answer it. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're 17 minutes past it already. So yes, the Q&A will just be open for the next 2 or 3 minutes. If we don't have any questions, then we move from there. All right, you're welcome, Nika Christian. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So like I mentioned, the webinar resource file would be available to everyone on this community. Once again, don't forget we're having a Twitter space conversation very soon. Very soon. Next month, we're going to be having guest contributors, 4 guest contributors, and then everybody on the community are going to be able to participate in this Twitter space conversation. It's going to be in between um, remote work, hybrid work, and office space work, like physical office space work. So it's going to be wonderful time out, wonderful time out. Yeah, so just make sure you're around. Make sure you look out for the links, look out for the materials. It's going to be a nice time. So I think this is where we come to a close tonight. This is where we come to a close tonight for tonight's webinar. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you. I think I can see people here. Tolu Creative. All right, so you can exit the call now. You can exit the call now. Thank you for coming around. So just expect on the community, you get the materials for this session. You surely get the materials.